My name is Viktor Wätterbäck from Stockholm and I design things. This hat I'm wearing is a SoonNoon cobalt blue custom-made open crown hat. I came with a picture from the movie The Holy Mountain and then we combined that into this that I'm wearing. I started designing furniture because I was learning 3D, something I've thought about doing for like 25 years, and I needed subjects to model. So I started designing a sofa. I come from a designer background, or like artistic approach, so I've basically learned how to make them look good before I could model things. My design inspiration comes from all sorts of places. There's not one place, but since I work with color a lot, I've like recently realized that I usually take clothing colors because they're more dynamic. Even if it's like this is super cobalt blue, it has like a million shades of blue. So I usually take that and bring it into a computer. And then when it comes to like interior decoration, I've done the opposite. I've taken like internet digital aesthetics and tried to bring them into here. That's why we have like super saturated colors. It's more like how you would see it in RGB on a screen. Yeah, I've been doing the furniture design as like a hobby project and to fill up our space because we couldn't find furniture that was interesting enough. At the start of this year, I started a design studio with a friend of mine called Fakt. I would love to have like a proper factory. So the reason why we called our studio Fakt, which is like a Swedish short version of factory. It's like partly inspired by Warhol's factory. The Warhol people was not only Andy Warhol. There were people doing furniture there, they did movies, they did everything. This is our dining room that we use to dine in. And behind me is the sofa, the first thing that I designed. Which, if anyone want to design furniture, never ever start with a sofa. You should probably start with a chair instead. This piece was made specifically to showcase like all the favorite Swedish contemporary artists that I buy stuff from. And then I wanted to combine it with just random flea market finds, so no one that is not super into this would notice which is which. This is the super fine thing and this is just a flea market thing. I don't know why I know this, but I know that it's a sin to paint one of these. So instead I just bought super cheap tape and taped it all over this. This is our bedroom, which is some weird combination of Chinese, French, end of the last century style. I was looking for big bamboo logs for like years, and then by accident when we visited my mom, we found these in Flen, of all places. So this is, I guess, one of those IKEA hacks. This is the Ivar cabinet, and then I just like built up and glued on pieces of wood and then attached the elephants as legs. This bar cabinet, which is named Curaçao Illusions after the drink, and also the illusion that I want to create. I wanted to do a bar cabinet that you could see through from every angle, basically. Originally, when I started, we called a web designer. I actually started designing when I was like 9, and my dad, because he worked with, back then it was called Diabilder, and they had like the first real Macs, they had the first version of Photoshop, and he showed me the airbrush tool. So I started doing like Garfield the cat graffiti and printing it out on like 4-color laser printers that would be like printing one color and then back into the printer, and then one color and then back into the printer. And you got this really weird glossy Garfield graffiti. My creative process for designing not only furniture, because I haven't done that for more than 3 years or something like that, but I have been designing for graphical or digital web for whatever it is, 20 years. The process is always you collect things and then you take 10 to 25% of one thing, combine it with 10 to 25% of something else, and then you have something new. And I think that's how all design works. If you look at how humans learn in general, it's always built on someone else's work. No one does everything. There's this famous TED talk, for instance, I don't remember his name, but he talks about that no one person can build a pen. And then he breaks down like what is actually needed to design a pen. It's like, first you have to mine the coal to make the graphite, then you have to cut the wood, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's how, like, if you're really truthful about design, that's how it works. You see like a pair of shoes that are like neon green and you're like, wow, that is awesome. And then you see intarsia work from like the 1600s and you're like, maybe I can combine those two. And then you try it and then you have to iterate 20 times because it always starts out with you thinking, oh, this is going to be super easy. And it never is.